When you're building your app or website, there's going to be a time where your users will get errors and it just won't work for them. And this is a problem if this is your first website, or even if you're a billion-dollar company with millions of users. Inevitably, this is going to come up very often. And today, I want to show you how you can use Ops Companion to eliminate or reduce the human intervention when it comes to figuring out what happened and deploying a fix. So let me go ahead and walk through a real example with you. I've got my newsletter open here, and we can see I have a section where you can sign up with your email and subscribe to my newsletters. Fill that out now and click sign up, and you can see I'm getting this weird error that says email is required, even though I already have my email here. And if this is you, you might get lucky and the person might reach out and let you know they have an error, but most likely they're either not even going to realize that there was an error, or they're just going to give up, and you're potentially losing out on tons of users and customers. So my name's Isaiah. I'm one of the founders here at Ops Companion, and we're building a platform to manage your application in production. Something that we are really excited to share is we integrated with a handful of these coding assistants. If you or your team are using any of these coding agents to do development, you can now use Ops Companion to give them context of what's actually happening with your app in the real world. So let's go ahead and install Ops Companion. I'm using Codex, so let's integrate Codex with Ops Companion, and let me show you how you can use it to fix this problem. I'll be following this quick start and our docs page. I'm going to go ahead and copy this, paste it here. What we're going to do is install the Ops Companion CLI that we're calling OPC. Once you do that, we'll go ahead and run the setup. And then I've actually already installed this, but for the sake of this demo, let's go ahead and go through the process again. So it's going to ask me for my Ops Companion API key. I'll go ahead and do that now. You can see I am logged in here. I'm going to go to my profile page, manage account, API keys. Again, make sure we're selecting the personal API key. We'll do create personal token. Let's give this a name called Codex. Select all the scopes here. And then we'll create this personal token. Don't worry, I will revoke this before I publish this video, so I'm going to copy that. And then let's go back to the setup and paste that in. All right, so after that is verified, you just select the coding agent that you're using. So I'm going to be using Codex. Let's click enter, and you can see just like that, Ops Companion is installed. So let's go to Codex and see if that. All right, so I'm in Codex and my project. So let's just go ahead and ask it, what skills do you have? Okay, and we can see that it's got the Ops Companion skills here. So if you go back to that quick start page, you can see here we have a prompt that you can paste to your agent to add logs into your app. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. We'll paste that in here. And essentially what this is doing is adding logging within the application. So when people are using it, interacting it, our coding agent will actually have context and insight on what's going on. It's going to ask us for our Ops Companion organization API key. So if I go to the dashboard, let's go back to my accounts. We're going to need to create a organization API. So you'll want to use the personal API key. We're doing things that really only affect you as the user. So think of something like the coding agent integration. But when it comes to your application, that will be an organization API key thing. So let's go ahead and do create new key. We'll call this one app. Let's give it all the scopes. Create the key. And again, I'll go ahead and revoke this key before publishing this video. So let's copy that. And then you'll want to make sure that it's not only saved locally, but also wherever you're hosting your app. So I'm using Vercel, so I went ahead and pasted that key here. Okay, so after we added those logs, if we go back to my app and get that error one more time, we can now see this. So if we go to Ops Companion, we can see that error shows up here. Let me move my face and shows us exactly what happened. So like I said at the very beginning, all the functionality that we're giving you with Ops Companion, we're also giving that to your agent. So if you go over to the agent, okay, so you can see that my coding agent now has access to how my system is performing in production. So we can do something like find the most recent error, fix it, and push to GitHub. Okay, so we just pushed that to GitHub. So let's go back to my app and let's try signing up again. And we can see the sign up was successful. So something else we can do too, if we didn't want a human in the loop, is we can actually go back to our coding assistant, go to automation, and then here we can do new automation. We'll just call this one fix errors. And then at the top here, we can just prompt it like we have been doing. So using OPC, find my most recent errors and push to GitHub. Then we'll just select the time frequency. So daily at 9 a.m. works for me. Let me select the project. And then we'll do create. And just like that, we have a system that is self-improving based on how it's working in production.